Goose on the ground, looking like a fool with your goose on the ground. What? What's good, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the What's Good Games podcast, your source for video game news, commentary, analysis, and funny stuff. I'm Andrea Renee, joined in studio by Miss Brittany Braubacher.
Hello, Gab.
I'm so glad you're here. What a nice surprise.
I know. I was here for an event, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to crash at her house. We're going to record in studio. We're going to look at Steimer's beautiful face across the internet, and Ashely's beautiful face as well.
Yes,
Yeah,
so Christine Steimer is here as well, of course. And we have very special guest, Ashely Esqueda is here.
Hi, friends.
I'm so glad we finally got you on the show. Ashely,
it's about time.
I know, it's been way too long. And for folks that maybe didn't know, Ashely and I go way back. You may have seen us hosting together at the Nintendo World Championships 2017, but nay, that was not the first time we worked together.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
I was producing at a company called thisweekend.com, and Ashely was the magnificent producer and host of This Week in Tech. And what other show? You worked on more than one show there, right?
Well, we did. I think we started with This Week in Android, and then it turned into This Week in Mobile because, like, it became
That's
like
right.
so much.
This
We
Week in
wanted to talk
Mobile.
about so much more than just Android news, and so it became that at one point. Like, I think we expanded it
And
out.
you did some hosting for the This Week in iPad show too, right?
Yeah, I think like they
Like some
asked me to
fill-in?
come in for I want to say I filled in for like them, and then I also went in for like I think they did This Week in Games, right? And I guested on that show, and then I did I guested on a bunch of stuff there. It was fun.
It was an experience for sure. And listen,
Truly an experience.
Yeah, I cut my teeth learning how to do live podcasting and live blogging way back then. And, I'm definitely forever grateful for kind of trial by fire and really discovering what a TriCaster was and what they could do at that show. So we worked with some really talented people, shout out to Lon Harris.
Yeah, big time shout out to Lon Harris.
But you are doing so many amazing things. We're going to talk about a lot of that in the third segment. But people can see you right now as hostess extraordinaire in a variety of things. Most notably, your kind of go-to gig at the moment is your role at CNET.
Yeah. So I'm a senior editor there, but I don't actually write a whole lot for the site, so we have weird title. But I host a show called Stream Economy, and so we talk about pop culture stuff. Like we pick a really important topic and we kind of deep dive on it. So a couple weeks ago, we did one about when they DC Universe announced the Robot Man television show with Brendan Fraser. Like we talked about like who is Robot Man and like what's the history there, and we kind of went through sort of all the iterations of the comics and like what DC might do with it, or here's some other casting ideas. So we kind of like take one topic and over 5 minutes every Saturday morning, we deep dive into it and kind of either speculate about stuff or and then we also give context on like what it is. So one of my favorite episodes we just did was about Game of Thrones, the prequel series that HBO is producing. We took some of the stuff George R.R. Martin had said on his blog about it, and we were like, okay, so here's what we know, and then now let's have fun and speculate about it. So it's not totally wild speculation. We actually
Grounded in some facts.
Yeah, we dig into the facts. But it's really fun, and we have a good time. And it's a weird show. It's like good with your Saturday morning cartoons. Like squeeze it in there somewhere. It's fun.
Well, I haven't watched the that specific episode yet, but I'm very interested in this prequel series that's happening because I'm a big Game of Thrones fan, so I'll have to definitely check that out. If I wanted to go watch that, where would I do that?
You go to the CNET YouTube channel, and we have a whole playlist called Stream Economy. And like I said, every Saturday morning we put up the show, usually, unless it's like, obviously holidays and stuff like that. So we'll be back this week with, I believe we're going to be, sneak peek, we're going to do an episode about what happens if Fantastic Beasts as a franchise fails. So because they had a little bit of a disappointing box office domestically. So and Warner Brothers is not historically known for being patient with their franchises, as we've seen with all the DC cinematic universe. So
that's true.
Really want to talk about that this week, and really, I hope I don't make a lot of Harry Potter fans mad because I'm a huge Harry Potter fan. But this sort of series has been like real hit and miss for me.
Well, I'm going to be interested to hear what you have to say about that. But we're going to hear more what Ashely's working on and kind of talk about her favorite games and the things that she's playing a little bit later on in the show. I have to take a second to thank everybody who participated in our amazing Black Friday / Cyber Monday merch sale that we did at the What's Good Games merch store. You guys came in force. We were not expecting so many of you to take advantage of that special deal, especially patrons in particular, really taking advantage of your extra discount that we offered you guys. So thank you so much for supporting us. And please, once you get your merchandise,
Send us pics.
we want photos. We would love to see you in the merchandise that you selected. So thank you again for supporting What's Good Games through our merchandise store. Again, that's whatsgoodgames.com/store if you want to check it out. I was wearing our special holiday tee earlier today. I was planning to wear it on the show tonight. And then right before we were about to come out to start the pre-show, I opened this bottle of champagne that John brought home from work, because this time of year, a lot of people send things to people's offices, and a lot of times those gifts are wine. My husband doesn't drink, which I've mentioned on the show before. And so whenever he gets a gift of wine, he of course gives it to me, like an amazing husband that he is. And so I go
That's a real perk for you.
I know, it's totally all the business
Get
gifts.
to the good party, Andrea.
Yeah.
So I'm opening this bottle of champagne, which, if you guys know me, and you do, I open bottles of champagne like it's my job, okay? I do this all the time.
It was your job at one point.
It was my job at one point.
Every day.
I'm very good at it. I have never had a bottle of champagne explode like this bottle exploded, like literally ever in my career, in my life.
It was so
They
funny.
shook it up before they sent it to John.
But
Yeah.
the crazy
It was
part,
like
the
a
crazy
plant.
part is it was laying down in the refrigerator for a solid week before I opened it, so I had plenty of time to rest.
I don't know what
It was
happened.
priming.
All I hear is the
It was just laying in wait.
It was laying in wait. Yes, it was silently waiting. And I turn around and I would say, oh, that's a good sound. You know, when you hear that pop sound, it's like, oh, that means fun times are abound. I look, all I see is this white foam everywhere. And I mean, Steimer, you know Andrea's kitchen. All over the kitchen, the cupboards, the table, the floor.
It went
the cats were
literally
looking at it.
everywhere.
The cats are now hammered in Andrea's house. Oh my God. And I've
I was
never...
about to say, did Ghost and Maverick get
Oh
covered?
yeah, I have never seen this girl move so fast in my life. Here's what happened. As soon as you realized that this was not going to stop, this was a volcano that was not going to stop.
I thought maybe it was just like a little bit, you know, sometimes if you open like a beer or something,
No.
just foams a little bit. Oh no, this was like or like I'm holding a fire hydrant hose of champagne. It's coming out of the bottle so fast.
It was coming out so fast. and this realization that this party was not going to stop, she in one leap made it to her sink and just like, bah! And then she ruined her new jeans and she was sad in her shirt. And then John was like, I'll clean it up, it's fine. And she couldn't stop cleaning, and it was really funny. I appreciate you taking one for the team. That was a memory I'll never forget.
Listen, I love my husband and he is so sweet, but he always just misses a spot. And so that's why I immediately started cleaning. Because now there's champagne all over. And like normally I would be all about that life, but it means it's going to be real sticky in my house for the next like couple
Yeah,
of
that's how you
nights.
get ants.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
No.
Especially since it's been raining here in San Francisco. They're already trying to come at my house. Ugh.
Good times.
Anyway, I digress.
Also, it looks like youtube.com/whatsgoodgames. Steimer has a thumbprint in the corner of her window.
Wait, what?
Do you see that on the left side of her screen? Do you
That's
see
really
that
creepy.
little
What do you
blurry
mean?
spot?
Oh.
Oh.
No, it's nothing bad. Not a big issue.
It's a shadow from your lamp on your back table.
Oh, it could be because I don't have my glasses on, but it looks like, you know when someone takes a picture and their
Oh.
thumbprint is blocking part of the lens?
So it's definitely a shadow of your lamp that's behind you.
But it's freaking
not
me
a
out because
thumbprint.
it makes me feel like there's someone there, like filming Steimer.
There better not be someone here. I
Because-
like living alone. Leave me alone.
Because we were
Everyone go
talking
away.
about this during the pre-show, with something with the camera quality. You look like a beautiful gothic angel, like an angel of beauty and darkness. And
Yes.
yeah, because the camera and your light. The camera and your Brio died last week, but the light inside you has awakened, like Ashely said. So now you're
I
this
have risen
gothic.
from the ashes like a phoenix.
Yes, in a rose.
Beautiful phoenix.
Anyway, we can get on with the show now.
I don't even know how to follow that. Like, how do you follow Steimer being a phoenix? You don't. I guess you
angel
do
of
eventually.
Phoenix.
We have lots of news to get to. Before we get to the news, I need to tell you that we've got two amazing sponsors on the show today. Stamps.com and Robinhood are bringing What's Good Games to you 100% for free, along with all of the amazing people at patreon.com/whatsgoodgames. So I want to tell you a little bit about Stamps.com. In an always online world, you can get practically everything on demand. Your favorite movies, your video games, your food, even this show. Isn't it nice to listen to us whenever you want, when it's convenient for you? Well, did you ever think that you could get postage on demand? Well, you can, and it's all at Stamps.com. With Stamps.com, you can access all the services of the post office right from your desk or even your couch. Buy and print real U.S. postage for any letter or any package, available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Just click, print, and mail, and you're done. Stamps.com will even send you a digital scale so you can weigh your letters and packages and print the exact amount of postage every time. I'm definitely guilty of overpaying on postages because I was too lazy to go to the post office or to UPS and get them to actually weigh it, so I just put extra stamps on. No more with Stamps.com. If you're part of our awesome Patreon, chances are you've probably received mail from What's Good Games. So we kind of consider ourselves mail experts. And what I know is that running around town and dropping off mail can be time-consuming, and so can waiting in line, especially during an incredibly busy holiday season. So skip all that hassle and print your postage at home. Right now, if you go to Stamps.com, you can click in the upper right-hand corner on the big microphone that says, "Have you heard about us through a radio or a podcast?" You click on that, and then you type in code WGG for our very special offer, a 4-week trial, which includes postage and a digital scale. You go to Stamps.com, click on that microphone, and type in WGG. Again, one more time, Stamps.com, and the code is WGG to start your 4-week trial. It includes a little digital scale because, listen, the weight is super important. I didn't realize this until I started sending Patreon postcards and letters and Polaroids through the mail to all different parts of the world. But every part of an ounce counts. So get it right and get it for cheap at
Every
Stamps.com.
part of an ounce counts. That was clever. Did you come up with that?
Just right now on the spot.
Yeah, girl.
Stamps.com should give you a little extra for that. I'm gonna
Yeah,
be
that was
honest.
great.
That would be nice of them. But
Hey,
they
Give you a little
are
kickback. That's a great motto.
every part of an ounce counts.
Yeah.
Wow. Maybe I should become a marketing copywriter. I did that once in a past life. All right. Thank you again to Stamps.com. Let's get to the news. So we've got quite a few stories really right as the show was about to start today on Wednesday evening. We got some breaking news from Nintendo that we're going to talk about in just a little bit. But first up, the thing that most people are talking about this week, Red Dead Online's beta is finally live. So we knew that it was coming sometime in the latter part of November, which is what Rockstar Games said. And they are really cutting it close by launching it on the 27th. So it launched on Tuesday for people with the Ultimate Edition. If you bought the game or had it installed or were playing it on launch day, you got it on the day after. And then by Friday, the 30th, everybody who owns Red Dead Redemption 2 is going to get rolled into the online beta. So if you're listening to the show, maybe you've already tested it out for yourself. Now, they sent me quite a detailed list of everything that's going to be available in the beta, and I can't possibly read it all because it would take far too long. But some things to know is that they're going to be doing some additions and updates throughout the beta period. As far as I know, they haven't given an end date to the
I haven't
beta.
heard one.
They're just going to keep it rolling, I imagine, until they decide it's finished, and then they'll just launch it or do like a soft launch as like Red Dead Online is officially out of beta. I don't know like how you do that. Actually, do you remember how Overwatch did that? Was it the retail release that kind of marked the end of the beta period?
Well, I think there was a beta, the open beta. First, there was the closed beta, and then they had an open beta, and I think that lasted until about 2 weeks before the game launched, and then the game launched. But usually with something like this, like GTA Online, they were in a beta for a while, and then like they were just like, oh well, now we're officially, it's like it's done. Like we feel like confident enough to just drop the beta title. So I mean, I can't imagine they would relaunch this because they're going to want everybody to be able to save their progress. So I'm guessing it'll be similar to Fallout 76 in that it's like, you're going to play the beta, you already have the game, but then
All of your progress carries over?
all your progress carries over. Like I can't imagine they would erase everybody's progress.
Yeah.
But I can't imagine they do that if they if they have the ability not to. I can't imagine they would.
Well, especially
think
since
the
they're
beta
already
title
selling
here-
transactions, right? Microtransactions.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
I
beta
think
title here is more of like a don't get
Yeah.
mad at us, there are bugs here.
Yeah, exactly. It's just a CYA. It's a cover your ass for hey, like this isn't perfect and there's no way we could possibly QA test every single thing in this online because you guys are going to think of stuff that we never think of that's going to break the game, so it's still in beta.
Definitely.
Like that seems like a thing that, that's why it's called beta.
So just a few things that you can do in case you're interested. Starting this week, you can ride with your friends in a posse. You can set up your camp, embark on cooperative story-based missions, which Steimer and I are going to tell you about in the next segment. Go head-to-head in competitive series. Find strangers throughout the world to help or hurt. Tackle spontaneous free-roam challenges. Go hunting, fishing, bond with your horse, explore with friends or on your own, but look out for ambushes and much more. All the while, you'll accumulate XP through your explorations and encounters that count towards your rank and provides added bonuses. Unlock items, improve your attributes while you progress. And you can also take on award challenges throughout your open world experiences to earn awards in 12 categories like combat, hunting, sharpshooter, and survivalists. Of course, they've got a detailed character creator. You can pick whether you want to be a male or a female, and then they have a variety of faces, body shapes, etc., etc. Steimer, I'm sure, will tell you
I'm so excited.
gladly how she hates that she has an ugly character, and she's mad about it.
Yeah, I'll talk about that in the second segment.
You basically play as a convict at the Siska penitentiary, and you get broken out, and you're being, I don't want to spoil how you get broken out. You'll get a horse, you'll set up camp, you'll hunt down treasure, equip your first ability card, and then of course meet a bunch of characters and start doing some story missions. In the game, much like in the campaign, you will have an honor rating, so you can either be honorable or dishonorable. How you
Mine's in the tank.
Oh, really?
You were there.
Oh, yes. Oh, you deserve that. We'll talk about that later. Well, mine's probably even worse, though. I haven't looked, actually. Actually, mine's not too bad. That's what I get
yours
for
is fine.
murdering you.
You didn't go on a killing spree.
So some of the things they have: free roam missions, land of opportunity, shootout, and team shootouts. Make it count. Which is nothing but a bow and a handful of arrows. Most Wanted, which is a tactical race to the top. Hostile Territory, where you work in teams to control the land. Name Your Weapon, where you demonstrate your personal specialty in this free-for-all or team-based match. And then they'll have more details, of course, about additional gameplay that they're going to be rolling out throughout the beta. They do recommend that you check out the companion app, which I've heard is very great. I've downloaded it, but never actually used it. Has any of you ladies used the Red Dead companion app in your experience yet?
I used it during the single player campaign, obviously, and it was obviously. It was fine. I honestly didn't mind opening up the map to know where I was and get my bearings, but it works really well. It's obviously seamless with your movements, and it was good. But I didn't use it after 10 minutes of it. I was like, not for me.
I have ruined every open world game I have ever started playing. So I've skipped Red Dead. Like I can't. It's okay. So Steger, you were saying that you have a very high wanted level. This is basically what ends up happening to me in every open world game is I find some strange thing to do in the game that they allow you to do for some reason that you probably shouldn't be able to do, and I get really focused on that thing. So, for example, in Metal Gear Solid 5, I became an animal rescue for Mother Base and just went around ballooning animals up to Mother Base because I didn't care about any of the missions. I was like, I don't care about any of this. I just want to rescue all the animals. I'm gonna go get some
better Noah's Ark this. I'm just
I'm gonna Mother's Base Ark this. There we go.
So funny you say that because I saw a tweet about, I don't know who it was, but someone was hog-tying NPCs and then taking them to railroads where it would split off into two.
I saw that.
Did you see this? And he would put them on one or the other, and if the train hit them, obviously they died, but if the train passed them, he would set them free and let them live their life. That's what he was doing.
That's terrible. I hate that.
But see, for me, it would be if I had the option to become a quilter in Red Dead Redemption and start up a store, I would do that. I'm the lame person. So in Skyrim, I spent 2 hours creating a character. This is the saddest story.
Oh, girl,
in
no.
Fallout 3, I became a trash collector. I'm just going to clean up the apocalypse all by myself. And picked up
amazing.
every can and killed the first lady in the first house that you run into, like in Fallout 3 when you're on your way to Megaton. I killed that lady. I took her house. And I put all of the empty cans that I found in that house. And every time you open the door, all the cans would fly out. It was so bad.
Is there video of this?
Andrea, I spent 40 plus hours in Fallout 3 and barely made it to the first supermart.
That's amazing.
Wow.
Real bad. So in Skyrim, I spent 2 hours creating a character. I got to the first village, was like, oh my God, this game is amazing. It's so beautiful. And nighttime fell and a werewolf attacked me. And so I killed it and it yelped. And then all of a sudden, here comes the blacksmith with his blacksmith hammer going, oi, you killed my dog. I killed his dog on accident. I didn't know.
You thought a dog was a werewolf?
I did. It was Skype. I just saw dragons, Andrea. I just saw dragons.
You were like, this dog is clearly a werewolf.
I mean, there are werewolves in that game, but they don't unlock until like hour 75.
Oh God,
He
so
ran
good.
up to me in the night, and I didn't
He
know.
wanted a pet on the head, and instead you
know.
bonked him to death.
Yeah, you
bonked
booped
to
him.
death, and I killed the blacksmith. And then, as you have probably noticed in Skyrim, the little player tip shows up, and it's like, if you leave witnesses, your wanted level
Oh,
goes
so you
up.
killed
and I
the
hear
blacksmith.
The screams of the blacksmith's wife. So I had to go in the house, and I had to kill the blacksmith's wife and his child, and then I had to kill everyone
No,
in that
you can't
town.
kill children in Skyrim, though.
I killed everyone in the town except
God.
that kid.
Oh my
And
God.
apparently that kid was the thing that got away and told everybody because I couldn't murder that kid.
Damn you,
And I got
Todd
to the
Howard.
first city, and the parapets, they were already shooting at me from the parapets. They're like a wanted level of 1,000. And I was like, I quit this game. And that
to
was
be
the last time
fair,
I ever played Skyrim.
Holy
you
shit.
massacred an entire
got
town.
intense.
I know, I killed everyone in the town, and I was like, I'm doing this so wrong. Like, this is so bad.
I kind of get it, girl. I killed a
But
chicken in that
ruined-
first town, and that was it. They all got mad at me for killing a chicken. I'm like, this isn't Zelda. What's wrong? Why are you mad at me? It's fine.
Every single open world game. This is a problem.
hilarious.
It's so bad. So I'm actually, we'll talk about it later, but I'm actually slightly enjoying Fallout 76 because there are no goals. Like, you just wander around and you do nothing.
I never thought about that as a plus, but now that you mention it, I can see how it could be.
For insane people like me, it's great.
So the Make It Count is their battle royale mode, and you use bows and knives.
So I played in
Well, I guess
we'll talk about it in the next
I'd say
segment.
it's more like Hunger Games, but yes,
Yeah.
like more
Oh.
traditional versus
Interesting.
And it's, yeah, obviously it's not the same kind of like large map where you like are jumping in and like there's this ever
the
shrinking.
thing getting smaller.
Yeah, it's different.
That's cute.
It's
Title,
more
Make
like
It
a
Count.
King of the Hill than a battle royale.
Interesting.
but
I
with
would say.
just bows and arrows and knives.
Right. Exactly.
They make you keep it real. They make you kick it old school.
Yeah. So just a couple more notes from Rockstar. They say, we ask for your help in keeping Red Dead Online fun and fair for everyone. Please use the in-game reporting tools to report any abusive behavior, cheating, or exploits that you see during the beta. They talk about their long-standing copyright policy about posting applies now as ever. They say you may notice areas of the game of the in-game menus are not accessible yet or available during this early period of the beta, such as the Red Dead Online in-game store, which will eventually open up to provide the option of purchasing gold bars to directly acquire cosmetic items like camp decor or special style for your weapon. And they say we hope that player progress during this early period of the beta will be able to remain intact long-term. However, as many betas for large-scale online experiences such as this, there is always the chance that we may need to implement rank or other stat resets in case of issues. So they really buried the lead on that, because this email that they sent out is long and extensive and has lots of photos and like, look at all the things you can do. The very last line, we may need to implement rank or other stat resets in case of issues. So at least they, as Ashely said, are covering their asses on this. But just so you know, and this is why I'm going to go into more detail about why I'm going to not spend much time in the beta in this early stage in the next segment. But important to know that you don't maybe want to put like 100 hours into the early beta because of this exact reason that they might reset your progress. So just keep that in the back of your mind. As long as you are of the philosophy it's about the journey, not the destination, then you might be okay. But otherwise, like, don't be mad. They warned you.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to leave it
I
at
would
that.
imagine that would only be, they would only really probably wipe the server if it was something really game breaking.
Yeah,
Yeah, something
catastrophic.
really
Really
broke,
bad.
and yeah, people, yeah.
Which
Agree.
people, you probably want it to be reset anyway, right? It's like, unless you were like the person exploiting it really, really bad.
Too many ugly
Right.
cowboys.
Agreed.
They have to wipe the whole server.
We'll
Yes.
we'll
Too
talk
many
about
ugly
this at
cowboy.
yeah. Sorry to interrupt. The delay is a little bit bad, and so Brittany and I are talking over you guys, and that's on us. Sorry to everybody who is listening or watching. But we will talk about our experiences in this a little bit more in the second segment, because we have some other news that we would like to get to. So the rumors and leaks ahead of the Game Awards have begun. Mr. Jeff Keighley, who of course is the host and executive producer of the Game Awards, has started to tweet things on his personal channels and the Game Awards Twitter, and releasing a little bit of video talking about some teases for world premieres and such. But it looks like Obsidian is gearing up to announce something at the Game Awards. So this write-up comes from Adam Bankhurst over at IGN. Obsidian Entertainment appears to be getting ready for a big announcement at the Game Awards next week, as fictional ads with a countdown have begun appearing on its website. Obsidian, of course, known for such titles as Star Wars, Knights of the Old Republic 2, Fallout New Vegas, South Park The Stick of Truth, tweeted out a message saying, anyone else getting those ads on Obsidian.net? Clearly nobody was, so they had to tweet about it.
Yeah, they were like, weird.
Please come to our
No one
website.
visits our website.
No one
Right?
cares about our website.
When you go to their website, one of two different ads, one from Auntie Cleo's and one from Spacer's Choice, pop up with the net text saying, stay tuned for a special message.
Andrea Renoy.
Live December 6th at the Game Awards. Below the text is a countdown that ends when the Game Awards begin next Thursday at 5:30 p.m. Pacific time. When visitors click skip on the ads, they are taken to a second ad that is different based on which fictional company appears. For Spacer's Choice, the second ad features a gun with the tagline, "It's not the best choice, it's Spacer's choice." For Auntie Cleo's, the second ad says, "Better than nature," and features such health items as energizing ointment and facial mask skin cream. While Obsidian Entertainment was recently acquired by Microsoft, they were also part of Take-Two Interactive's private division label that was said to be publishing games from 5 different studios, including an unannounced RPG.
Dun dun dun.
Brett, what do you think this is?
I don't know. Okay, actually, I'm looking because Obsidian trademarked something a while ago, so I'm trying to pull that back up. But this is interesting because I think a lot of people, especially with the recent announcement that they were acquired by Microsoft, is assuming that this is Microsoft's an exclusive title. We don't know for sure because Obsidian is a part of this private division. So this is a deal that's been in the works for some time now. So I don't know. Obviously, we don't know what the contracts say. But it could turn out that Microsoft's going to try to pull some strings and make this an exclusive title. But I would say probably not. You'll probably see this on...
Oh, so that was just me.
I thought you were telling
Your
my
hair
cord's
looks
in my
beautiful.
way. No, I thought you were telling my cord's in the way. It's a habit of you being like, your cord, bitch. It's
Yeah, that's the producer in me. I don't like
That's
cords
fine.
showing.
So
that's
Obsidian is great at making the RPGs, and I'm very, very excited. And I think if Microsoft has a exclusive RPG IP down the line, I don't think this will be it with private division. I think we'll see this multi-platform or I'm thinking of back compat is what the cool kids say. This is completely irrelevant. Anyway, I think that would be amazing and awesome, and that's kind of what Microsoft needs going into next gen.
Jeff did tweet that there will be 10 new game announcements at the Game Awards, which I was really surprised to hear.
Wow.
10 is like a big number.
Good
I
for him.
expected to see, like world premiere trailers of new gameplay and things like that, but like brand new game announcements is really awesome. So tip of the hat to you, sir. I'm really excited to see, and I get to actually watch the show this year. So the past couple of years, I've been backstage doing live interviews, which has been awesome to be able to talk to so many cool people. But I miss the whole show, and then I have to like watch it back later.
I don't think we're sitting next to each other, and it makes me sad.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
We'll figure it out. We'll figure that part out
Obsidian
later.
Entertainment has filed 4 new trademarks for something called the Outer Worlds. So
Well, that
Ooh.
sounds like this, maybe. I don't know. Spacer's Choice makes me
Spacer.
think
if you
of that.
if you look at the advertisements on Obsidian.net, it kind of gives me a BioShocky vibe. The way the art is.
Interesting.
Yeah. So
Well, something
see.
to keep your eye on as we go into the Game Awards next week. The next story, and I'm so sorry, ladies and gentlemen, that I have to bring the dreaded L word back into conversation when we've blessedly had a couple of months where we haven't had to talk about loot boxes, but they have come back. The FTC here in the United States have pledged to a loot crate investigation.
Cool.
So this write-up comes from Polygon. The Federal Trade Commission today agreed to investigate video game loot boxes following an official request by Senator Maggie Hassan, Democrat from from New Hampshire. That's what that NH
From
stands
North
for.
Hampshire. Yeah,
North Hampshire.
Well, I
my
think
favorite
Andrea
state.
Renoy's from North Hampshire.
I don't know what's my problem. I just need more coffee, I think is my thing. In a Congressional Oversight Committee hearing this week, FTC Chairman Joe Simmons affirmed Senate Hassan's request that loot boxes be investigated. The exchange took place in a Senate Commerce Subcommittee hearing that was mainly focused on data privacy issues, but ranged into other territories. Quote, loot boxes are now endemic in the video game industry and are present in everything from casual smartphone games to the newest high-budget releases, said Hassan, adding that loot boxes will represent $50 billion industry by the year 2022, likely referring to a report earlier this year from Juniper Research. Game publishers often include loot boxes in their games, which offer in-game boosts and prizes, which we know. And then there's a little bit here about Battlefront 2, blah, 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 blah. Hassan warns that children are particularly susceptible to loot boxes. Of course, they are close linked to gambling, points to countries including Japan and the Netherlands and Belgium to bring legislation.
Damn you, Belgium.
Yeah, Belgium started this all. I wouldn't say damn them necessarily. They were just looking out for their own
They've
chocolate
got great
interests.
food. It's fine.
Good chocolate.
Waffle interest? I don't know. Last year, Representative Chris Lee and Sean Keelan held a news conference in Hawaii, which we talked about here on this show. Let me jump ahead here. Talking about, so Senator Hassan wrote to the ESRB, the Entertainment Software Ratings Board, the independent body that kind of self-regulates the video game industry, to ask how games with loot boxes are rated, and the ESRB added in an in-game purchases label to games that include loot crates, which I did not know that they officially added that across all games. That's good to know. And then the senator says it's time for the FTC to investigate to ensure that children are adequately being protected and educate parents. And Polygon requested comment, and the ESA sent the following statement. Quote, loot boxes are one way that players can enhance the experience that video games offer. Contrary to assertions, loot boxes are not gambling. They have no real-world value. Players always receive something that enhances their experience, and they are entirely optional to purchase. They can enhance the experience for those who choose to use them, but have no impact on those who do not. So I think that last sentence is the thing in contention here, because some games still have some pay-to-win mechanics in, which is why Battlefront 2 got raked over the coals, and then EA rolled those back, obviously. But I think it's safe to say that loot boxes are just not cosmetic only in all games. So that's kind of bullshit for the ESA to say, and I don't know why they would say that. But
Maybe they're hoping the other people won't do their research.
Yeah,
Yeah.
No, it's
Hopefully
fine.
they won't notice.
well,
Yeah.
probably. I mean, we've talked about loot boxes ad nauseum, and I'm sure, Ashley, these have been discussions that you guys have had, you know, at CNET and all the variety of other places that you've worked at as well. But we agree that loot boxes in general are kind of stupid. They're kind of dumb, and we hate them. Microtransactions where you get to buy cool skins, where you know what you're paying for and know what you're getting, that's fine. You know what? As long as everyone's clear and transparent about what you're paying for and what you're getting, you do your damn thing. You can either buy it or not. What I would be curious, Ashley, to get your opinion, if you're willing to talk about it, is do you think loot boxes are gambling or not? Because clearly the ESA in the United States government says no. The Belgian government
that's not
says
Belgium.
yes.
Yeah, I'm
That's
sorry.
not Belgium.
I know.
But
I'm terrible.
The gambling thing is kind of like, I mean, it's weird because on the one hand, I kind of understand the argument that they're making, but also I'm like I don't necessarily agree with it. Which is because, okay, so the majority of my experience with loot boxes is in Overwatch. And I feel that Overwatch, disclaimer, my brother works at Blizzard. He works on Heroes of the Storm. I always have to tell people that, but like I've loved Blizzard for a lot longer than I probably love my brother, but don't tell him that.
We won't tell your
but-
brother.
He's the best. But like with Overwatch, like I feel like that has always been the right way to do loot boxes, which is to say, okay, well, we have these like special events and there's costumes and like sprays and like things that do not impact your gameplay. But when you start getting into the pay to win stuff, I agree with you guys. Like it's silly, like it's ridiculous. And the other thing is it's very enticing to a kid who doesn't have a lot of time to maybe play Fortnite, to beg his or her parents to get these loot boxes so that they can get, a boost or whatever. But I also am of the mindset that I'm like, parents, lock down your credit cards. Like, what are you even doing? Like, why do you have, and I guarantee you this senator or somebody she knows, like some sister or some brother or somebody, like some kid of theirs ran up a big giant tab
Now
on
it's
like
an
Fortnite
endemic
stuff, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, and they just said, you need to do something about this. And then they just happened to look at Belgium, who was like, well, we feel this is a form of gambling. We like to keep consumers safe, which Europe generally has much stricter consumer protection laws, even though we might not agree with them here. They just generally tend to be a lot stricter and in favor of protecting the consumer. And so, like, I feel like Belgium is a really good example for this senator to use as like, oh, well, they say it's gambling. Well, that's a very convenient thing, but it doesn't necessarily mean it is gambling. So I do know, like, remember with the, what was it, Counter-Strike? There were the guys that were like selling.
Yeah, the
where
two
they owned
YouTubers
they
that
owned
gambling site.
the gambling site. So that stuff, like, I totally get it. That is absolutely gambling. And like, like that is a whole separate thing, I think, because it's a third party.
That was
That
actually a gambling website, though, and it
Right,
was
it's,
like,
like,
very
meant
clearly a
for
gambling
gambling.
website. Yeah.
But to me, it feels like that was the thing everyone seized on to be able to say loot boxes are gambling. And it was a misunderstanding of these people who oftentimes have no idea what the game industry is about. They probably don't play video games, or if they do, they don't play them very often. They may not play games that have loot boxes in them, or it's been a very long time since they've played a lot of games. And so to me, it just seems like a thing where they saw that story and were like, oh, well, they must all be that way. It's gambling. Let's just ban it. Better safe than sorry. And then now it's a good excuse for these people, these senators and Congress people to say, oh, well, we're going to do that too, because obviously, like, this is a really serious problem. Well, I think there are more serious problems in games. Like, I just feel like loot boxes is the fault of everyone. Like, and I guess that's like where I kind of land on it. It's like, it's everyone's fault. It's everyone's fault for buying into them because obviously it's a huge industry. You just read off the numbers.
Right.
It's a $50 billion industry by 2022. That's not too far away. So clearly people like them enough to buy them. But then on that same note, like, you're kind of offering something in a lot of situations where it's pay to win or pay to get a boost for a little while or, whatever that is. So I don't know. It's like, to me, it's just everybody's fault. And I wish the game industry would just be like, maybe we're just going to like walk away from this. But then of course it's like, they're also a business. And so I know that, Blizzard, much as I love them and they make great games, they're not my friend. They're there to take my money. Like, that's
exactly.
That's what they exist for. And like the whole thing with Diablo Immortal is like a great example. So many Diablo fans, I count myself among a massive amount of Diablo fans. I've been playing Diablo 2 since I was 15, 16 years old. Like, got so mad at that announcement and, oh, this is how they're going to do microtransactions. And I'm like, yeah, but like, you have to understand that those things are the things that keep those games in development for future Diablo installments. Or, it's like, it's hard because it's like, we want these games, like, to have lots of DLC and we want them to have all this extra stuff and online elements and ongoing upkeep that costs money.
Exactly.
And so to me, it's like they have to make money somehow. And so if they can do it in a way like Overwatch, where it's like, it's not hurting the gameplay. Like, I mean, there are bigger problems in Overwatch with like with gameplay than loot boxes. But the thing is like, they have to make money to continue keeping up the game and developing new content for the game. So if you love it that much, then like, like I think about Overwatch, I'm like, I have played on one character 160 hours on Pharah. And I'm like, that's worth giving them an extra $20 for a loot box at some point, because that's 163 hours of many games that I could have bought for $60 each.
True.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. I think you make a really great point. Something that I have said on this show several times about understanding the human cost behind the development. And you know, I love that you are using, you know, Diablo Immortal as an example. Another example would be you take like the foot packs from FIFA at EA and how that is such a giant part of their business, but that money from those microtransactions and loot boxes help fund the continued development of a game like Sea of Solitude, you know, that's coming, you know, like a smaller indie title or a game like Unravel 2. Because none of those smaller games get funding if the big titles don't bring in the cash for the publisher to begin with. So certainly, you know, people are allowed to be upset about it, and we need watchdogs looking after consumer protections, of course. But I think it's always important to remind gamers in particular, since they are so possessive over the art form, that there are people making these games, people with families, people that need to feed their families, just like you need to feed your family, and art isn't free. And in a world where there's so much available free entertainment, that it's important to remind ourselves, like, hey, like I should be paying for something, you know, like somebody had to make this, somebody had to create this from nothing, and that doesn't cost nothing. It costs something.
Right? My father and many other people in this world, money does not grow on trees. Unfortunately.
It's so true.
So,
Very true.
real quick, I'd be curious to hear, is this good or is this bad that the FTC is getting involved? Like, what does this mean? Because I've been looking through the comment threads, and it's honestly half and half. And I thought it would be a lot more, oh, no, we don't want them involved in our video games. But it sounds like we're going down that route.
I think loot boxes just have like such a negative connotation in general in the industry that I'm assuming a lot of people are like, yeah, get rid of them, right? Right. And like, but I do think, to Ashley's point, like, it can be done just fine. Like, they don't always have to be so predatory.
Right.
So I think, I mean, I don't really care if they look into it. They obviously are. Like, there's
it's happening.
happening, right? But I will be curious to see what they conclude.
Yeah.
And how they go about that conclusion, because there are so many various kinds. And like, I just want to be a fly on the wall, to be quite honest with you, in those meetings, and be like, how are you explaining this to these people?
Yeah. How are you explaining this to like an 80-year-old senator who's like literally never picked up a controller in his life?
I mean, we all saw the Facebook
his
hearings,
computer.
right?
Yeah.
Right, with Zuckerberg. Do we see it? I mean,
Oh, yeah.
where like
How do you
those
make
senators
money?
clearly had no idea what the fuck was going on.
It's like,
These
we run
senators have
ads.
no idea.
Oh my gosh,
But
so
it's
terrible.
that's what it is. It's a bunch of lobbyists on both sides yelling at these senators, saying like, well, here's what they are. Oh, they're harmless. They're totally harmless. It's this. But then another group of people is saying, oh, no, it's super harmful. This is what it is. And then it just is up to that like super old person who is not a gamer to decide what it is. And so it's
like,
that's
man,
never a good thing.
I just want to take a nap. Why am I here?
Yeah.
Yeah. I just want to go plan my death. It's just I want to talk to my attorneys about my last will and testament. I don't want to listen about loot boxes.
Oh my gosh.
My God.
So ridiculous.
I like how dark that went.
I assume that's what like 80-year-old senators do. I don't know. I haven't ever been one, so
Why retire when I can plan my death and make decisions about loot boxes?
Exactly. And like, just to put a button on this, because I do want to move on to the last story before we go into our first break, it's just that, to be clear, we are not endorsing or condoning predatory business practices with loot boxes in the video game industry. That is not something that any of us are in support of. I think what we are in support of is transparency. If loot boxes are going to continue, be like China, where they put all of the rates of drop rates for all the boxes publicly available. And then if you know what the drop rates are, you know what items are available to drop, and you still choose to pay, that is your adult choice. Now, clearly this law or this potential legislation that the FTC is looking into is all about protecting children. But I would say children don't make money. Children don't have jobs. They're not allowed to have jobs legally for a lot of good reasons. So if they have money, it's not their money, it's their parents' money. And this now has become a parenting issue, to which I would say the government has no business telling parents how to parent their kids. That's all I'm going to say about it.
You want to buy your kid 100 loot boxes? Do whatever you want.
Make them do all the dishes.
If you
want to
vacuum, if you want to give your kid your credit card or access to your credit card, that's on you.
That is on you.
That's on you, bro.
Exactly.
Okay. Last story of that we're going to talk about this week, because it broke right as we were getting ready to start the show, is about Nintendo. And Brittany, you pulled this one. Would you like to talk about this one?
Ladies and gentlemen, Nintendo is joining 2018. This comes from their official Twitter account. The tweet reads, "We're making it easier for creative fans to show their love for Nintendo and monetize videos that include Nintendo game content. Please take a look at our new guidelines here." And then here's some of their guidelines, and I'll just go through this. They included a link. You click on said link.
But before she goes through the guidelines, it says, "We are humbled every day by your loyalty and passion for Nintendo's games, characters, and worlds, and respect that you want to be able to express yourself creatively by sharing your own original videos and images using content from our games. As long as you follow some basic rules, we will not object to your use of gameplay footage and or screenshots captured from games for which Nintendo owns the copyright, quote, Nintendo game content, in the content you create for appropriate video and image sharing sites. To help guide you, we have prepared the following guidelines."
Do you ever love someone so much, but you just don't fucking understand them, and you want to wring their neck, but you love them? Anyway,
Yes.
Okay, here we go.
That's her relationship with Nintendo.
Yeah. All right, number 1, you may monetize your videos and channels using the monetization methods separately specified by Nintendo. Other forms of monetization of our intellectual property for commercial purposes are not permitted. Number 2, we encourage you to create videos that include your creative input and commentary. Videos and images that contain mere copies of Nintendo game content, all capitalized, without creative input or commentary are not permitted. You may, however, post gameplay videos and screenshots using Nintendo system features such as the capture button and on Nintendo Switch without additional input or commentary. Next, you are only permitted to use Nintendo game content that has been officially released or from promotional materials officially released by Nintendo, such as product trailers or Nintendo Directs. If you want to use the intellectual property of a third party, you are responsible for obtaining any necessary third-party permissions. You are not permitted to imply or state that your videos are officially affiliated with or sponsored by Nintendo. And finally, we reserve the right to remove any content that we believe is unlawful, infringing, inappropriate, or not in line with these guidelines. Please understand that we will not be able to respond to individual inquiries regarding these guidelines. Also, we may update these guidelines from time to time, so please refer to the latest version before sharing your content.
That's my favorite sentence now. Please understand that we will not be able to respond to individual inquiries regarding these.
So if you need a little refresher.
That's my default response on Instagram.
That's pretty good.
It should be a default response to everything.
It's anybody DMs me, I'm like, please understand, I will not be able to respond to individual inquiries.
Oh my god, so good. So
before you go into any more, I just want to give a slow clap
I'll join
for
you in that
Nintendo for finally coming around.
So this is a write-up from Polygon that came out in September, and this was regarding when Nintendo first came out with their content guidelines. And this is from 2017. So just as a refresher, Nintendo first introduced its Partners program back in March. Prior to the program, any monetization that came from using Nintendo gameplay footage would go to the company. Through the program, Nintendo agreed to, quote, share of these advertising proceeds for any YouTube videos or channels containing Nintendo copyrighted content that you register. The program allows YouTubers to submit full channels or specific videos for monetization, and the revenue share is 70% for channels and 60% for videos, but that may change according to Nintendo. So it was this weird old wonky thing where Nintendo and YouTube were like, okay, you can do your thing, but you're going to have to essentially enter into agreement with the both of us and split your revenue that way. Also, Nintendo content creators who were affiliated with the program were not allowed to live stream. In order to live stream a Nintendo game, you would have to use a different account that was not associated with your Nintendo account. So it's just, it's just a thing. I'm happy.
So weird.
I'm happy they're getting better at life. I'm happy they're joining the times. It's just, it's a whole ordeal. It's just a whole.
Well, they've always been the slowest to adapt to new ideas and things like that. So this is sort of expected. I guess I wouldn't have minded this earlier. Like when the Switch actually launched.
Right.
I wonder
exactly.
what made them change their mind.
Well, they have a new president, so maybe there's some more progress happening. It's just who knows what's going on in the house of Nintendo. It's just such a secretive place.
I would imagine the human cost for them to constantly monitor YouTube and submit individual content ID claims, right? Because while
That's
a
true.
lot
It's
of
a
that
bitch.
system is automated, you still have to have somebody on the end like clicking the
Dealing with it.
right? And
Yeah,
so
there's like manual claims you have to go
And
through.
also how much were they really making from that split monetization system that it was worth it for them? Like you said, like
Can't
how,
be
that it was
anything.
even worth it for them to
Because-
continue
yeah,
doing.
as someone with a
Nintendo doesn't
YouTube channel
negative.
here at What's Good, we can tell you the Google AdSense ain't exactly paying the bills.
So
No.
how much of this was because they wanted the monetization, but how much of it is we want to control the content that's put out there? Because Nintendo's so focused on their family-friendly persona that I could see this.
Sure.
Yeah.
I think you're right. That's right on the money. I think that's because they've always been very specific about how the Nintendo brand and the image is used. And so YouTube must be a very scary thing for a company like Nintendo. Like I would imagine that would be very daunting for them because it's like putting out a game. It's like once it's out there, it's not yours anymore, right? And so Nintendo just really wanted to try to keep it theirs for as long as humanly possible. And I think, now they're just sort of maybe loosening up a little bit, which is nice.
Well, if you see some of those indie games that are on their eShop, I mean...
we're going to discuss Party Hard for sure.
I mean, not only that, but the dating sims on there and just...
Yeah, like there's some
I mean, I'm happy to see it.
content.
I'm happy to see it. You're growing up, Nintendo. You're doing good work. I'm proud of you. I love you. I'm patient.
Yeah,
Keep growing.
I'm
Keep
definitely
doing
happy
things.
to give another tip of the hat to Nintendo for
You tip a hat.
for making some progress here. And I think this is probably really great news to a lot of Nintendo creators out there that have been holding back. I know for one, we intentionally don't stream or upload Nintendo-based content as far as gameplay is concerned because of their really strict YouTube policies. And so this is really great news that, maybe we can start doing more Mario Party streams.
Maybe we can start inserting Nintendo footage when we want to talk about it. It's fine.
So upset about Mario Party, you guys. We're going to talk about it, but
Okay.
I'm upset.
We're gonna talk about it.
Right.
Let's take a short break to compose ourselves. And when we come back, we will talk to you about what we have been playing, and it's gonna be a good one. So stick with us, everybody. We'll see you in a few. Welcome back, everybody. It is segment 2 of the What's Good Games podcast. That's right. It's time to talk about what we've been playing. And this week, it is brought to you by Robinhood. That Robinhood. No, not that guy. Not the guy that, has a little hat and a great mustache and really amazing tights. But instead, that's right. I'm talking about the investing app, which we first talked about at the beginning of November, that lets you buy and sell stocks, ETFs, S's? So I said this wrong. ETFs, I think is the correct way for me to say that. Options and cryptos, all commission free. They strive to make financial services work for everyone, not just the wealthy, and it's a non-intimidating way for the stock market newcomers to invest for the first time with true confidence. The design in the app is simple and intuitive, complemented by clear design with data presented in an easy-to-digest way. Now, I don't consider myself to be a stock market expert, but Robinhood makes getting started with trading as easy as clicking a button. Other brokerages can charge up to $10 for every trade, but Robinhood lets you keep all of your profits commission free. Now, I know it may sound intimidating, and I felt clueless when I got started with Robinhood, but they've got tons of articles with knowledge on specific companies, trends, and more. And if you're interested in learning, they've got easy to understand charts and market data, and their notification alerts give you helpful tips when stock prices go up or down. And my favorite feature, when earnings calls are happening, so you can just click and listen in live directly from the app, which I really love. If you guys want to try Robinhood out, you can get a free stock to help start your portfolio. I got a free stock of Groupon. It was great. I feel really invested now. by heading over to whatsgood.robinhood.com to get your free stock from companies like Apple, Ford, or Sprint by signing up today. That's what's good, WHATSGOOD, you know us, what's good, .robinhood, all one word, ROBINHOOD, you know Robinhood.com, and you guys can get your free stock to start getting started in Robinhood today. And it's been a whole learning experience for me, really starting to take some interest in what's happening with the markets. And the markets have been up for quite a while now, which is what my financial advisor just told me. I had a meeting with him a week ago to talk about adult things like starting an IRA and you know, like looking at maybe starting a health savings account and other things. And I was like, oh yeah, by the way, I started looking, at the stock market with this app I'm using, and I was telling him all about it, and he was like, oh, I haven't even used that before. So I think I turned my financial advisor.
You're a real
on to
adult,
Robinhood.
Andrea Renee.
I'm trying to adult the best I can.
It's smart.
It's hard.
We all are.
We're trying.
Excuse me.
Adulting it good.
I'm choking on a peanut. But thank you so much to Robinhood for supporting What's Good Games. Again, what'sgood.robinhood.com to get your free stock. Now, on to what we've been playing. And as we alluded to in the top of the show, Steimer and I had some shenanigans in Red Dead Online.
She laughs, she giggles. That's not a good sign.
Yes.
And by shenanigans, I mean we murdered each other. That happened.
But on purpose? That's the question.
Yeah, on purpose.
Yes.
Uh-oh.
But it didn't start out this way. So I will tell the first part of the story.
Okay.
So how Red Dead drops you, or online, I should say, drops you in, like you get, again, there's a prison thing. Obviously, you're not in prison forever. So otherwise, that would be really
Horse
boring.
bakes you a cake with a file in it.
Yes,
Breaks
exactly.
you out of jail.
Right.
Yes. So once you are free, one of the first things it does is it puts you into a mission where you're kind of forced to matchmake with other people. And I think in that instance, you aren't allowed to really grief the other players because as I was riding my horse to this location, the one player jumped off their horse and onto my horse. However, it just had them riding along on the back of me. Like, it just basically added them to the horse's butt, and they were riding along. And I was like, oh, that's super cute. This must be how jumping to horses works in Red Dead Online. So then once finally Andrea and I are in a place where we can group together, we start going off, and I'm like, oh, Andrea, hold, and I'm like, wait a minute. And so I run up alongside her horse, jump to horse. I punch her off her horse, steal her horse, and it's like horse thief. And then she becomes an enemy. And I was like, oh my God, I did not think that would happen. I thought this was going to be super cute. I thought I was going to hop on the back of your horse and we were going to
put your arms around her waist and off you would go.
Yeah, Steimer, you horse thief.
And then, so once that scale
I'm like, what are you doing?
Side, I just rolled with it. I just was like, I guess I'm evil. Yeah. And I went around after that. We still tried to group, and then we were having issues, mostly because we couldn't figure out if we were still in a posse or not in a posse. We couldn't. I think once I had done a bad deed toward her, we had issues getting back together.
That sounds about right. I mean, that sounds like real life right there.
So it very clearly has some technical kinks they're working out. It's a beta. So I'm not going to, rake them over the coals or anything like that. They said, it's a beta. We got to work some stuff out. I get it. We had some difficulty starting a posse. So there's two ways to start a posse. You can do a temporary posse, which is just something you do in session. And you can invite either nearby players in the world, or you can invite people from your friends list that are logged on. Or you can start a permanent posse, which is 7 players. And it costs $200 in-game to start, which is really difficult to get in Red Dead Online, which we're going to talk about in just a second. But, so we clearly didn't start a permanent posse, which we want to do eventually, but...
I just hit my hand because I want to point to the camera and make a quick point.
Okay.
No pun intended. Shout out to RJ Bryan. He made us a What's Good gang. Did you see this graphic?
Oh,
yeah, I did.
nice.
So we will start eventually our own posse because we've gotten a lot of questions about that on our social media.
But I don't think we can make a group the way they want us to make a group.
Oh.
Well, it's because you're going around punching people off the horses.
I don't know how it works.
Well, if posses can only be 7 people deep, yeah, it's
Listen, we'll
going to be...
just have to kick you out from time to time. If you're not bringing in the gold bars, if you're not killing enough people, tipping enough cows, you're out.
That's how a real posse would work.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
That's true.
Anyway,
The best of the best, the cream of the crop.
So we had some trouble, obviously, syncing up. But when we finally did, we're like, let's go try one of these missions together. And so we did one of the first missions, and it went pretty well, I would say.
What was the mission?
You know what? I don't think we ever actually did a mission together because what happened was we went to that first town. We went to Rhodes, and then we got slightly separated. I did one mission, you did another.
Oh, maybe that's what maybe I'm thinking about the mission I did after you logged off.
Yeah, because we never actually successfully
did two
anything
tandem
together.
missions. That's right.
Except
you did a mission and then I did a
Shoot
mission.
each other.
Huh.
We did shoot each other.
We
So
definitely we shot each other.
we were
but-
outside. We were outside of a saloon, and then Steimer went to steal my horse a second
Nope.
time.
No, that is not what happened.
Okay,
Here
you
is
tell me
what
what happened.
What happened was we both went into this story mission and we were supposed to go in together, but we couldn't figure out how to make it work because it wasn't, again, I don't think it recognized that we were in a group, or if it was, maybe you can't go into cutscenes together. I don't know. We didn't figure it out. But she went in. She's like, oh shit, sorry, I already started this mission. And I was like, okay, well, I'll just park my horse next
I forgot
to your
about
horse.
this.
Uh-huh.
Oh, no.
See? Selective memory. So then I go into the cutscene. She obviously gets out earlier and she's like, oh, I do see your horse here. I'm going to tell your horse to flee. I was like, you better not tell my horse to flee. That's really rude. Like, I need my horse. She's like, no, I'm going to. And so she does. And so as soon as I get out, I was like, you bitch.
Yeah, but
Where's my horse?
But the horse didn't run that far away. It was just up the
No.
road.
But did you have horse insurance?
Yes.
Oh.
So, yeah, we did.
Okay.
But so then you're like, I'm going to go. And then I was like, no. And so I punched you off your horse again. I stole your horse. And then, but then you point blank
Double
shot
horse
me.
And then I shot you.
And then shot me in the head. And I died.
Okay, I do not want to be a part of
This
this
is
posse.
a real Wild West experience. Can I just say?
You are
mission
some
accomplished on every level for Red Dead
backstabbing
Online.
bitches
It
right
gets
here.
better.
No, thank you.
So I respawn. She's off running somewhere else. I get back into the world. I get back on my horse. And I'm like, wait, Andrea, like, wait for me. Like, where are we going? What are we doing? Like, and then so I run up behind her and she's like, wait, are you following me? I was like, yes, I am. Of course I'm following you. What do you mean? We're in a group together. And she's like, you're not going to shoot me, are you? And I was like, huh. So then I did take out my gun and I shot her multiple times until she died.
Wow.
And then I laughed so hard that I started crying. And then I was like, I think I need to go to bed now.
Like I said, that seems like a really authentic Wild West experience.
Wow.
Like, I buy it.
Wow.
I
I
think the
feel
thing
like
to
they really did what they set out to do.
There you go.
agree, but I think the thing to note here is that clearly our posse wasn't working because we turned friendly fire off in our posse.
No, this sounds like something therapy needs to solve. I'm just
and we were able to both murder each other, so clearly we were not in a posse together.
I mean, yeah, I think as soon as I like accidentally did a negative thing, it kicks you out of a posse.
Horse,
But yeah, I
yes.
shouldn't have been able to. I don't know. It was weird.
So it
Yeah.
sounds like there's just some bugs.
Maybe the bug
because-
was just a friendly fire bug.
Yeah, there you go.
Or
So
maybe it's not. Because you can hurt your horse, like in the game.
Oh, I did that
So-
too. I ran straight into a pole, electricity
Right.
pole.
God, can I just say those videos, those compilation videos of people just wiping the fuck out on those horses
So
makes
sad.
me laugh so hard.
It's so frustrating because like I was riding, everything was fine, and then like just the tiniest little motion on the sticks on the controller, and bam, my horse goes face first into a pole, and then it almost dies, and I'm like, what the hell?
see, like that's a loyal horse. That's a loyal ass horse.
no, a horse would never run into a pole
Unless
face
it was
first.
so loyal that it
You know,
followed your
horses
every
are not that
command.
smart.
Horses are smarter.
I would run into a
than
tree for you,
self-driving
Andrea.
cars.
That's true.
Oh,
A
thank
horse
you, Brittany.
would not,
I
like
appreciate
Andrea
that.
said, a horse would not run into a post.
It could be like the Dudley Do-Right
Why it's
horse.
so funny. That's why it's so funny.
It could be like the Dudley
is-
Do-Right horse. Real dumb. Loyal.
It is funny.
Loyal and
So-
stupid.
Clearly online has some bugs. I want to talk about a couple other things that I'm a little bit concerned about that I hope that they fix. First thing, one of the best parts about Red Dead Redemption 2 is just exploring the open world and coming across random encounters throughout the world. people have talked about it endlessly, about how they just love riding from place to place, just seeing what's going to happen along the path. Do not expect that to happen in Red Dead Online, at least not now. The world is incredibly empty when you're not running into other players. There are some NPCs from time to time, but I have yet to come across any random encounters like I came across in the main campaign. And
that's interesting.
And that was a bummer because the fast travel system is still not up to what I would deem suitable standards. They have improved it in the sense that you can fast travel more easily. You don't have to necessarily take a wagon from place to place. They have like a fast travel stand at towns. But the kicker, it costs money to use the fast travel system, whereas in the campaign, it only costs money if you're using the train or if you're using the coaches. If you use the fast travel from camp, it doesn't cost you money. Here, when
it does initially has an initial cost.
Well, yeah, you pay to unlock it, but you don't pay per fast travel.
Per travel.
In Red Dead Online, you pay per fast travel no matter which way you fast travel.
Like Fallout.
Oh, wow.
And that is really shitty considering that the map is completely unlocked in Red Dead Online. And when Steimer was dropped into the world, her base camp was really far away from where my base camp was. So we both had to pay money to fast travel to get towards each other. You can't fast travel to somebody if you posse up with somebody. It
fast traveled me to you.
Well,
we fast traveled to Blackwater, I think.
Maybe it was just when I tried to posse up with you after we got disconnected that it dumped me in the wrong place because of a bug, and then I had to like just take a fast travel to where you were in Valentine.
I think that's what happened because when the initial posseing up worked fine, I teleported to you.
Okay.
But then again after the horse kerfuffle, things did not quite work the way I think we wanted them to.
Well, that's good to know if it's working. But the second time it didn't work, and another experience that I had after you logged off and I was playing by myself is I tried to move my camp. So you have like a camp, like your base camp that you can upgrade and things like that, and then you can move it around. You have this guy Crips who kind of like manages your camp for you. And so I decided to move my camp because it was on the far side of the map, and I was like, why is it over there? And then I moved it, and then it put it into the wrong section of the world. And I was like, I didn't want it over there. And so I had to move it again. It took me 5 times of moving it for it to get into the right part of the world. And even then, when I pulled it up on the map, it showed that it was in a different section. But when I rode past it, I'm like, wait, it's right there. I can see it. And then I had to remind myself, oh, yeah, this is a beta. So just like some things that are kind of coming up on my radar is like, oh, I hope that they kind of work out these issues with the fast travel system because money is really hard to come by. I read an article, I believe it was on either Kotaku or Polygon today. No, I think it was actually on IGN about how fast you can earn gold and gold bars. So there's dual currency in online, which is to be expected because they're going to let you buy currency like they do in GTA Online. And then there's currency that you can just earn by doing stuff in the world. Okay. And the gold nuggets that you earn are dripped out at a glacial pace, to say the least. The calculations that we've seen so far on Reddit are the quickest that you can earn 1 full gold bar just by doing world activities, and that does not include loading time, is 8 hours for 1 gold bar of gameplay. Ooh. So they extrapolated that, saying if we were able to successfully do these kinds of missions, it would take 3 40-hour weeks of play to unlock the basic level of horses.
Wow. I don't have any experience. Bad. No, that's awful. I don't have any experience with Grand Theft Auto Online, but I feel like we don't hear these complaints with it. Maybe we do. Maybe I'm just...
Well, that game has also been optimized for several years,
but you would think that they would take what they've learned from that game and apply it to this, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, there's a lot of money sinks in that game too, and so I mean that's the age-old carrot stick thing where it's just like, oh, well, we're just gonna we encourage you to play the game a whole lot to make money, or go to our store and buy bars. It's so easy.
Anybody can do it if you have a credit card and a job.
Exactly.
And a child to spend all of your money. No, you're not wrong. I guess the point I was trying to make is you would hope that they wouldn't put, because we've had some tweets sent to us to the What's Good _games Twitter account of people screenshotting things and saying, oh my gosh, this is so pay to win. This is so unfair. Why is it like this? Grand Theft Auto Online is so much smoother. I obviously can't speak to that because I don't have experience with Grand Theft Auto Online, but I mean, it's a beta, like you said. I guess take it for what it is, but
maybe they'll adjust it.
Oh yeah, I mean, obviously, yeah, I'm totally assuming they will adjust it and make it, better for the children and the adults. And the adults who are working hard so their children can spend money.
They very clearly said they want feedback and that they're going to be making adjustments and things
They'll
like
get
that.
feedback.
So yeah, definitely. I just the world right now just doesn't feel like there's enough to do. I did do one of the modes where it was a master archery competition. And what will happen is while you're kind of wandering through the open world of Red Dead 2, something will pop up on your screen. It'll be like hold, for me on PlayStation was hold the options button to participate. And so I kept taking them just to be like, I need to just try them out and see what they are. The first one they dropped me into was just like a headshot competition. It was just like a free for all, get as many headshots on everybody playing in the game world as humanly possible. And so it was not really fun. I'm just going to say that because these guns in Red Dead, you guys have already heard me ad nauseum talk about how I don't like the combat in Red Dead, but doing it in a PvP sense is sluggishly terrible. And I hate these guns, and the guns you get at the beginning of Red Dead Online are bad.
Yeah, you get like a pellet gun. It's weird.
And I'm worried about how the implications for pay to win are going to affect guns and things like that, because you have cards now for your abilities that unlock your Deadeye and things like that. It's too early to say how that's going to ripple out, so I don't want to hypothesize or go down a path. So I'm just going to shelve that for now. The next thing I played was a master archery competition, which I thought was just hitting targets, but there's a twist. You hit targets, but there's also a lot of people out there with bows that can kill you. So you have to hit as many targets as possible, but also kill people along the way because they're going to kill you.
Wait, real people or NPC people?
No, like actual other players in the world.
Oh.
It's PvP. It's a PvP master archery competition where you get points for hitting bullseyes on targets in the game world, but also there's people running around just shooting you. Like there was one guy who was running around who had no interest in hitting the actual bullseyes and was just pulled out his gun, even though it was supposed to be a bow only mode, and just started shooting people with his gun just for funsies while everyone was
lame.
Yeah, but this is the problem with like an online world, right?
Well, if I'm not mistaken, in the game, aren't there like quests where if you even unholster your weapon, like it's a fail, it's a mission fail?
Yeah,
right. So like, why you not implement that into the online stuff?
So right now, my understanding is that there's no way to signal that you are pacifist. The only thing you can do is when you're in your camp, you can raise a white flag,
right?
And that prevents other players from killing you in your camp. If you lower it, you have to wait another 30 seconds to raise it again. Again, this is probably something we'll see come into Red Dead, because it's in Grand Theft Auto Online, right? It's on GTA Online that you can be like, don't hurt me, please. I'm just someone trying to enjoy the world, the city.
I'm a simple taxi driver.
Yeah, because I've heard some awful griefing stories from people who are just like in a store, and this girl kept getting killed over and over and over again. She was getting hogtied and dragged around, and
Yeah, no, it's bad. But particularly in the story missions, they force you to matchmake, which I'm like, why would I have to matchmake in a story mission? So one of the missions, I'm not going to go into details, but it requires 4 people, and you each get on your horse, and you each have to hog tie a different bandit in the mission, and then you have to pick up the bandit that's hog tied and deliver them to a specific spot. What happens is like if somebody doesn't hog tie their person fast enough, you fail the mission. If somebody quits the mission mid-mission, you fail the mission.
I just want to roam around.
It's like, clearly there's a lot of kinks to be worked out. And so what I learned in my brief time with Red Dead Online is maybe I don't want to play this right now. Maybe I want somebody else to work out the kinks And I got lots of other stuff to play, and I'll come back later.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that's what I have to say about that right now, but we'll probably have more to say about that later. I want to talk about, Ashely, you alluded to Party Hard.
I did. This game. Okay.
So I
Such a silly
wanted
game.
to talk about that and anything else that you've been playing right now that you would like to chat about.
Well, so real briefly, I'll touch on Fallout 76. Obviously, this is a game topic that has been beaten to death. But I have not experienced some of the more game-breaking bugs, like our mutual friend Mike Drucker. Did you happen to read that article he wrote about him playing Fallout 76 because this is the game that he's worthy of? It's one of the funniest articles
Amazing.
I've ever read.
No,
It's
I haven't
amazing.
seen that yet, but I
He
was
is
just
so
talking to
funny.
him earlier this week.
Go hunt it down. It's so funny. So
Okay.
he talks about like how he's not worthy of love and that's why he's playing Fallout. It's really funny.
No.
It's really, really funny. So he's been playing it and apparently he's had a problem where the game just uninstalls itself. Like
It's trying to tell him
What?
no, and he keeps coming back.
and then he reinstalls it and then logs back in to see how much progress he has lost, which is really bad.
Why? That's like cutting
Really bad.
yourself
How much progress
in the
does he
arm,
lose?
and then putting salt in that wound, and then pouring alcohol on that wound, and pouring salt, and then having like, I don't know, someone with a gross mouth disease licking that wound. Like, why would you do that
It's
to yourself?
bad.
That's a
It's
really
bad. So-
grotesque
but he
analogy.
explains
That's
that
what
in the
that's
article.
like.
Please read that right because it's very funny.
Wow.
But that's one of the problems he's had. And then like I've seen other people who are like, I literally can't see like enemies or like there's a lot of glitches in Fallout
Sure.
76. And which is, can I just say that like as a person who is a fan of Bethesda, I love what they do. It is shocking to me that they have used this game engine for as long as they've had and have this many problems launching a game
Yeah.
on the same platform. It's like I don't get that. So, and you know what? To be fair, I am not a game developer. I cannot speak to the difficulties of creating a game. Bless them for all working so hard on the game. Like, I appreciate that regardless of the state of the game when it launched, a lot of people worked really flipping hard on it. And I respect that and appreciate them like times 1,000. But also, like, how is this game so unstable? Like it's kind of weird. So anyway, I have had a lot of fun because I am not a builder, and fortunately my husband loves sandbox games where he can build stuff. So he's the guy, he's the gatherer and I'm the hunter. So I basically am like go out, I'm like a reaver and I go like do all the missions and get all the stuff, and we've been having a lot of fun kind of like playing around in the wasteland. But like it's so, like you were saying about Red Dead Online, it feels so empty. And like there are some times when I log in and play that game and I'm glad it is, and it does feel like a true wasteland, right? So it always struck me as odd in the Fallout games that there were so many people. There were like settlements and all this stuff and people who had survived and whatever. But in Fallout 76, it's like it should feel empty and barren because these are the first people emerging from the first vault, you know? And so I understand the choice to do it that way, but also like it is maybe too lonely. And I almost argue that there's not enough players per server. Like, and I don't know if that's a game limitation. Like what was the limitation on the server? Do you guys remember? It's like 24?
I think
I
it's
don't
50?
remember.
12,
It's
isn't
under
it?
100.
For the Fallout 76 maps?
Yeah.
I think it's a lot
I
less
can't
than
remember
that.
what the limit was.
I'll find out for you.
But it's not a lot. And the thing is the maps are relatively large. Like the map is not tiny. It reminds me of like a very, you know, pretty standard, like expanded sort of Fallout map. But there are some really good quests that are done with voiceover, and you know, there's like a cold case mystery that you solve kind of earlier on and stuff. I like all of that. I think it's really well done. But yeah, there's something missing there, and I feel really bad that like that game is going to have to probably go free to play at some point. And I would imagine that's probably what they should have done.
Yes.
Yeah.
It should have just immediately been a free to play game with microtransactions for like decorating your camp.
Yeah.
Right.
So
like
the limit, sorry, is 24.
It's 24. Okay, so
That's
yeah,
crazy.
it's just, it feels a little bit.
That's
it feels
so
a little
small.
bit lonely. It's
Mhm.
it really feels lonely, and it's like every now and again I run into players, and like it is kind of, to be fair, it is an exciting event when you run into somebody else because it's rare, but it also it because there are no NPCs, because there are no actual other people you're interacting with, there are robots that you can talk to, and then you have holotapes and everything. It just, there's something missing there. There's like that je ne sais quoi of what makes Fallout so special. It's just, it feels like the power armor is there, but there's no one in the suit. Like, if that makes
Ooh, that
sense.
was
Like
good.
it's just,
Yeah.
there's no one inside the power armor suit. And it's like, I wanted that humanity, because that's one of the things that makes Fallout kind of special, right? Is like the good or bad humanity of the people who have survived the wastelands. It's like that's a really integral part of the storytelling for me anyway. So that was it's a little bit of a bummer. Like, but it is really fun playing with friends. Like, if you're playing Fallout with friends and you don't have game-breaking bugs, it's actually like not bad. It's a Fallout game. It feels fine.
No, I'm
But
with
I
you.
would
I've
say
had
it's
fun with
fine.
it. I've had fun with it. I talked
Sure.
about this last week, I think it was. I haven't had anything too crazy happen. The craziest thing is enemies don't take damage and the character models are in their T-pose. But that's basically it. I'm having fun playing with my husband too. It's fun just to kind of play something mindless and silly and build a camp together and all that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, like I don't mind that at all. And it's like it's fine. Like,
Yeah.
it's not
It's
great
fine.
or good. It's fine. It's that 55 Metacritic score. I'm like, that's fine. That's half. Fine. Like, that's what it feels like. But
I'm just with you
party
that
hard.
yeah, they should just make it free to play.
Yeah.
Just do it, Bethesda.
Yeah, just make it free to play and then do the microtransaction. Make really cool decor for the microtransactions.
Yeah.
Like for your camp.
there's something there. I think there's something with this game that can be really great. It's just way too
A
early.
little misguided.
It's
I think
$60
a little
price
bit of
tag.
misguided effort.
Not warranted in any way, shape, or form. But we'll see how this game progresses.
Yeah. Also, I'm really curious as to what it looks like in 6 months. Really curious. But Party Hard. So I don't know if anybody's even heard of this game.
Yeah, I played it on Xbox.
Yeah, it's been on Steam for a long time, and actually Party Hard 2 is out. But Party Hard recently came out on Switch over, I think, Thanksgiving weekend. And if there is a game, like a little indie weird, I love weirdo indie games like more than anything. And if there's a little weirdo indie game that is perfect for the Switch, it is Party Hard. It's exactly the right game to just carry around with you. And like, if you haven't played it, you're a guy who hates all these loud parties that are happening, and you go on a murder spree, and basically every single level is just one screen, and it's very like 8-bit looking. And you are walking around and you have to murder everyone at the party without getting caught. And you can like hide bodies, and you can like set traps and all this stuff. And it has like really like mediocre kind of like techno music playing. Like, it's ridiculous. This game is ridiculous, but it's so fun. And like, I could not stop playing it over Thanksgiving weekend. I was like, I'm oddly mesmerized. I feel like I have to get through it. Like, I have to play this game all the way through. And now I'm like, why don't they have Party Hard 2 out
That's
on
a tiny
Switch?
build
So
game, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Oh, yeah. I watched Jason play that for hours, and it's freaking hilarious. It's so silly.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's a ridiculous game. I mean, like, when you use the phones and suddenly, like, an army of Mad Men, or I'm sorry, not Mad Men, Mad Max cosplayers show up and then, like, just start, like, yelling at people at the party. Then, like, the SWAT team will show up and just start, like, taking people out. You can poison the food. Everybody starts getting sick. It's so
It's
weird,
like
and
8-bit
it's so
Hitman.
good.
Like 8-bit Hitman. That's a good way to put it. It's officially called an action stealth video game. And it says your neighbors are having a loud party. Stop them.
Yes, that's pretty much it. And you go to like a biker party and a casino, and then there's a really good one in a bus. Like, you're inside a bus and there's a whole bunch of people you have to kill, and you have to figure out, like, oh my god, how am I going to do this? And then you get like a stun bomb, and you stun everybody, and then you just walk around while they're sleeping and just take them out.
So good.
Bop,
It's great.
bop, bop.
So great.
I remember one level I had, like, there was a horse in the party. Like, there was just a horse in the house.
Yeah, you can scare the horse.
And you can scare the horse, and then it kicks someone to death, I think.
Yep. You can kick somebody to death with a horse. You can like set explosions in like the kitchens, like fires and stuff like that. There's one
Like an
level where
Overcooked.
you can literally
Perfect.
drop out the or electrocute or drop out the entire dance floor, and so anybody on the dance floor gets like killed immediately.
Oh
You
no,
can
they're
start a
just trying to
conga
get
line
their
and then
groove
just,
on,
like,
and you
drop them
murder
out.
them.
It's great.
Hey, they're being loud, Andrea.
Yeah, you gotta
it's
get your
past
sleep.
noise curfew.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh,
Get it together.
ridiculous.
As a 35-year-old adult now, like I appreciate the protagonist in that game
You're a
In
hero
a
to all
way-
of us.
in a way that I couldn't have 10 years ago. Like I just could not have related. But there are nights where I'm just like, I would like to kill the people next door to me because they are playing music on a Tuesday at 5 a.m. Like I am gonna
Ugh.
lose it. So yeah,
I mean, I'm
Slight
like
wish
30 and that
fulfillment,
makes me
but-
clench. Ugh.
but it's so fun. It's a real great like pick up and play game. So it's a delight.
There you go. And
If
now
you're
it's on
weird, if
Nintendo
you're weird
Switch.
and macabre like I am, please buy it. It's so good.
All right, Brittany, I've got 5 minutes for you to talk about My Horse Prince.
I think we can make it 10. I think we can make it 10.
Nay! That's a good dolphin horse hybrid.
Oh my god, I love it.
Okay, so I'm not even gonna pretend like I know what this game is about. I know nothing about this game. I was drunk in Las Vegas on Saturday night, and I was going through my Facebook feed,
As you do.
having a nice hot bath, relaxing from a
Wait, you were drunk on a Saturday night in the bathtub?
Yeah. You know, after like a night of drinking, you kind of like go back to your like hotel. And,
Why are you going back on Saturday night? Please tell me it was actually Sunday morning.
Oh yeah, what? Okay, it was probably like midnight. It was past midnight. I can tell
Wait,
you that
no,
much.
midnight in Vegas? Okay, we'll talk about this later.
Listen, I had some really bad food at a restaurant. I was
Aw.
having a night.
I'm sorry.
It's fine.
Now I feel like an asshole.
No, don't. 'Cause
Okay,
okay.
You should.
Okay, My Horse Prince.
So I'm going through Facebook, scrolling through, and I'm part of a group that's made of I don't know, like other people who play video games. Anyway, one of them was like, "Hey, yo, did you see this game? Do you think you could play this?" And it was a screenshot of this hot-faced anime man, but with a horse's body. I'm like, okay,
Like a centaur.
yeah.
But not. It's like not well designed. It's like a copy paste. Like somebody copy pasted
Yeah.
an
It's
anime
fucking
face.
I have
awkward.
to look this up immediately.
Okay,
by the way.
so
I'm looking up
while
right-
they're looking it up- I'm going to
my.
read the Wikipedia because, again, I'm not going to pretend like I even know what this game's about. Okay. My Horse Prince is a 2016 Japanese otome, I hope I said that right, game for mobile devices. It was developed by Usaya and was released in Japanese during November 2016 and in English the following month for iOS and Android. The game's story follows a young woman who finds herself taking ownership of and reluctantly falling for a horse with a human face.
Oh my god, no, let me paint a picture for people who are watching and listening. This is not like a centaur. This is literally a horse. Imagine an anime horse, just a beautiful horse. Now imagine that horse's long snout is gone and there's just a human anime man face there.
There's a
Entire
long horse neck.
ears.
Horse
Long
neck,
horse neck.
horse legs, horse ears. But anime
yeah.
dude face.
Deeply unsettling. This is deeply unsettling. This
But he
is
has a hot
free.
human
This
face.
game is free.
Okay.
You
So
guys.
while these horse sounds are going, I'm going to read you the plot of this. Okay.
Oh, that's a good.
The game
that's a good
story
horse
centers
sound.
upon. Okay, I can do it. The game.
Wait, give me the horse sound.
Okay.
It does the horse sound.
The game's story centers upon a young businesswoman who has spent most of her life working as such, has had no significant other, and low prospects to find one. She decides to leave her
what is
job.
happening?
She decides to leave her job and visit a racing horse ranch with the assumption that it could be full of handsome young men. When she arrives, she is dismayed to find it bereft of potential dating candidates and is shocked to discover a horse named Yuma with an attractive human face. She questions the ranch owner about this and is told that Yuma is a normal horse. She just sees a human face because some women born in the year of the horse have the ability to see horses as attractive men. Yuma and the ranch owner persuade the woman to become the horse's owner against her own better judgment. And as she spends more time with Yuma preparing him for an upcoming race, she is surprised and somewhat horrified to find herself falling for him.
This is
Wait,
fucked
she
up.
buys him, the horseman?
Yes,
Yeah,
she
okay,
buys
so
the
I have
horse man.
screenshots because I knew there's no way I was going to remember all the shit that's going down.
There's a power dynamic at play here that I don't like.
Okay, so
You must love me. I own you.
okay, so you
Also, win your races or else. It's
also
to the
here's
glue
a
factory.
here's a
Can
picture
you
of my
send
horse
him to the
husband
glue
drinking
factory?
coffee and having a
That's
cigarette.
like DLC, I think.
Okay,
Ugh.
so you go to this ranch and you're like, oh my gosh, I need hot guys. And then this horse trots up and he has a hot anime boy face and you're like, oh my God. this is a hot anime boy face horse. And the owner's like, no, dog, that's a normal horse, but you were born in the year of the horse, therefore you see him as a hot man. So you somehow fall for this horse man.
This is straight up bestiality.
I don't know yet. See, I don't know.
That she sees, it's like...
No, it is.
No, because I don't know, because I have a feeling...
shallow Hal situation?
She might...
Instead of...
Yes.
Because I don't know. I have a feeling we're in for the plot twist of the century, ladies and gentlemen, where she's going to realize she bonked her head and she's been daydreaming this whole time. And then Hot Horseman is actually a human with an actual penis. But what I'm thinking...
Do you want to know?
No, I'm figuring... I'm still playing this. Okay. So I want to know. So you go to this ranch and this guy's like, hey, here's this horse. Why don't you help me train him for a race? And you're like, all right. So how this game works is that there's certain missions. And these missions, essentially, you have to tap your screen. So the first mission... is you have to train your horse for a race, therefore you have 1 million treadmills at your disposal. So you have to tap all the treadmills, and he gets and the animations
don't run on treadmills.
Dude, these animations are the funniest. These animations, funniest damn thing you'll ever see. This horse running on a treadmill. Right now, my horse is surfing on a surfboard. And you
does it look like quap animations?
No. Like these are full-fledged animations. They're just very exaggerated and silly. And so you have to, every time you tap on a treadmill, you have an energy meter of 100, and that slowly drains. The more it drains, the less points you get for running on said treadmills, to the point where you get to 0 energy, you can't do anything. So you have to chat with your horse, and he asks you the same questions over and over again, but if you answer correctly, he gets 30% extra energy. Now, after 3 questions, you can only ask him a question every 30 minutes. Well, you have to wait 30 minutes until you can ask him the next question, I think is what it is. Or you can watch advertisements. See, Andrea? Go ahead. He's surfing right now. Right now, I'm at the beach with my horse. Tap on one of those waves.
That's what the horse would do. Definitely would fit on a surfboard.
Why is he moving like that?
I'm telling you, it's the most awkward, entertaining thing ever. So the first time I ran him on treadmills.
I mean, we can't see that.
I know, but the people watching at home can. People watching it.
So
I don't care about that.
So he runs on treadmills, and then he wakes up in your house. You wake up in your house, and your horse is in there. He's cutting you green onions, and then he cuts you dozens and dozens of green onions.
He's also wearing sunglasses like a weirdo.
How can he cut you green onions?
And she asks,
no hands.
She asks this question. Your girl asks this question. She's like, I don't know how he's doing this, but he does it. He holds a cigarette. Anyway, just it's free. I did pay 99 cents to get rid of the ads, but it is a free game.
Oh, I see the screenshot where he's cutting green onions. That's so upsetting.
And so I have to know. I have to know if she banks this horse. I want to know how this ends. I don't want to be told. I want to find out for myself.
Doesn't end well.
So fun fact, apparently there was this was a Japanese game, and then this is the English release, and the localization apparently is very good, like compared to the Japanese version. Like it's really, really good. Preserves like the jokes and the references, like pop culture stuff, like preserves a lot of it very well.
I will say the translation, it is very, it's great. The localization, it reminds me of the silly anime you'll find in a humor, has the same sort of facial expressions. If you watch anime, of like the falling over, the little silly, like cute, like distressed eyes. I don't know. It's funny. In no way, shape, or form would I recommend this game if it wasn't free. It's not even a game.
I'm gonna get it.
It's not even a game.
I'm downloading it right now.
Give yourself 15 minutes and experience it, and we can bond over this. It's quite the thing.
All right. Well, on that note, we're going to take our final break of the show. When we come back, we're taking your Dear WGG questions and talking about what it is exactly that Ashely does and what is the siren song of Splatoon 2 for her. Stick with us, everybody. We'll be right back. What's good, everybody? Welcome back to segment 3 of the What's Good Games podcast. This is the part of the show where we take your questions, and we're going to talk with our lovely guest, Miss Ashely Esqueda. What is the correct way to say your last name?
It's really easy once you pronounce it right the first time. So you got it, which is Esqueda.
Yes.
The D sounds like the DA at the end of my last name sounds like the word the.
Esqueda.
Yeah, perfect.
Okay.
Esqueda.
I like it. I like it.
It sounds like the word the at the end. It's super, super easy. But the DA trips people up. They say Esqueda, there's a lot of that.
I understand
Nice.
that plight.
I know, me too.
Watcher. Well, she has been so gracious to join us so far for the show, talking about games she's been playing, give us some insight onto the news that's happening. And I wanted to talk a little bit about your Splatoon fandom, because one of the things that I was so glad that we got to do together, I mentioned obviously at the top of the show, we worked back in the day at thisweekend.com, but more recently we got to work together at the Nintendo World Championship. And you have been shoutcasting periodically for Nintendo for Splatoon. So this is something I think a lot of people don't realize that you do, that you are not only a big Nintendo fan and a big Splatoon fan, but that you are really good at shoutcasting.
We had so much fun.
It was great.
Yeah, like just Nintendo World Championships in and of itself. So I love the movie The Wizard. And so when I was a kid, all I wanted to do was go and be in the Nintendo World Championship. Like that was my life goals. That was it. Like I was very jealous of Fred Savage. And I was very upset when I found out that like there was one and I didn't go. Like I was sad. So, and I was like, someday I'm going to be in the Nintendo World Championships. And I didn't get to be a competitor, but like beyond my wildest dreams, I got to like shoutcast Mario Kart and Tetris, and God, the Tetris round was absolutely bonkers. So much fun. Remember, like none of the younger kids like knew how to play Tetris. It was amazing.
Yeah.
They were all so bad at it. It was great.
It was sad and tragic in a way.
It was really sad. And then like the Donkey Kong level, like it looked really easy, and then everybody just kept blowing it, like on the cart. The minecart level.
Oh my God, I'm so good at that level.
Yeah, and so it was so funny because like I was watching it and I'm like, God, come on, kids, this is like basic platforming 101. Like you got to get with the program. And like they kept, man, people were just, oh man, those mine carts were just dropping out of the sky. They were just dropping down.
But my mind was blown by the Mario Kart champion, the kid I think who was like 14.
He was like, yeah, he was a kid.
And I was just like, I had no idea that apparently the key to winning every Mario Kart race is you just have to drift the entire time.
It's just all drift and boost, drift and boost, drift and boost, drift and boost. So it's like that's literally the name of the game, drift and boost. So yeah, like getting to do that was amazing. That was really fun to even just be in the room. Like that was so cool. And then so I've gotten a shoutcast with Jordan Kent for a couple E3s in a row, which is pretty cool. And Jordan is like, the man is a machine. He's so good at, he's every
host's dream co-host. He really is.
You could not possibly ask for somebody better standing next to you, because not only is he a really good play-by-play guy, he's also an incredible analyst and a really great desk anchor. So he does all three. And not only does he do it for Splatoon, he did it for ARMS. He's done it for Smash Brothers. Like he does it for everything. And he has these note cards, these 5x7 index cards that literally just have every fact you could possibly imagine right now. I mean, he does so much homework. He made me better at shoutcasting just based on the quality of his work. I was like, I have to step my game up. Like, I can't just show up here and like talk about Splatoon. I have to like prep and research like real commentator. Like I have to be a real commentator here. I can't just like roll out of bed one day and be like, oh yeah, I play a little bit of Splatoon, so I know about it. But no, like I had to do a bunch of homework and like get into all the previous tournaments that had happened that led the top teams to be at the Splatoon World Championships and win, like it was just so cool to do. And I love Splatoon. So I remember the first time I played Splatoon was at E3. And I don't know if you remember this, if you guys were at that E3. Andrea, I know you were because I saw you there. And it was the year they had, it was so bizarre. They had a stage set up facing the show floor. And it was, you walked up there and there were 8 stations, and they did it 8 at a time, where it was 4v4, and you would have to wait in line and then go up there, play a round, and then you could leave. And I remember thinking during the presentation, like, what a bizarre game. Like, it's a shooter and it's got squids that are also kids. Like, what a strange, like, this is so Nintendo. but like, is it Mario levels of good? Like, because, you know, it's like Nintendo really sticks to what they do best. All their first party games, a lot of them, like, it's very rare for them to have a new IP. And so this new franchise was like, oh, I don't know, like, it looks super weird. The second I played that game at E3, I was like, this game is going to be a huge hit. And even for the Wii U, it was a huge hit for the Wii U. Even though the Wii U didn't sell as many, you know, consoles as the Switch, the saturation rate was very high for Splatoon.
Mm-hmm.
And I played that game, oh my God, like nonstop for an entire summer and loved it so much. And then ended up meeting a bunch of people in the Splatoon community, including the people from Treehouse and everything, which is how I ended up getting asked to do a lot of the shoutcasting stuff. So, and then God, Splatoon 2, I was like, when they talked about the Switch, and I'm like, there's got to be Splatoon 2, right? Like, there has to be a new Splatoon. And I thought maybe they would, at launch, like, just have the original game, because not a lot of people played it on Wii U. Like, maybe they would just port it over and find out a way to, you know, not deal with the map on the screen, on the handheld. And so I was more than elated when they were like, oh no, it's an actual sequel. It's all new maps, all new everything. And I was just like, oh my God, this is so exciting for me. And yeah, I love it. It's so fun. It's so easy to pick up and play. It's super hard to master. I think it's a really deep game. Like, a lot of people see it and it looks very cartoonish. But I really enjoy playing it. And I'm sad that this upcoming content update is like one of the last ones that they're planning for the game.
So, I didn't know that.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's been out for a while now.
It's been out for a while, and also it's like, it also makes you go, well, that means that team is moving on to do new stuff, which is always very exciting, whatever that might be, whether it's new Splatoon or something completely different. But yeah, and getting to meet Mr. Nogami has been incredible, and he is just the nicest man. And he was so happy with how we, you know, presented the game and talked about the game and everything. And yeah, it's just been, that has been like a really great experience in my life. I've considered doing more shoutcasting for stuff like Overwatch, but I feel like I just don't have the time. So I wish I had more time, because especially with Overwatch, it's like, it's such a big audience, and you just really have to know every single everything. Every
little detail. Yeah, for sure. I think it's indicative of how Nintendo is maybe lagging a little bit behind in the transition into games as a live service, because so many of the other publishers and platform holders are looking at this trend and going, how can we maybe move some of our long-term properties into a games as service? I mean, look at Call of Duty as a prime example for that. And Nintendo has not even kind of broached that or gotten close to that at all. They're still releasing DLC in a very traditional way. But I have to imagine taking the Switch into the next generation of consoles and whatever's next for Nintendo, that they have to be looking at the trend going, how do we, you know, revamp what our online offering is? How do we look at seasons of content? How do we look at, you know, making the tail of these franchises more? Even we talked about this recently on the show about how the president of Nintendo was like, we want to look at bolstering DLC for our current and existing franchises, not necessarily making something new, and what that really means for Nintendo. But
and I think you're right in that, like, when I see that they're spinning down content, like, I don't work for Nintendo. I don't know what's going on with Splatoon development. Like, I have no idea. But as a gamer and as somebody who just loves the game, like, I'm like, the thing that I'm hoping is the case is that they're doing exactly that, which is, let's build Splatoon 3. It might take a few years, but let's build a new Splatoon that takes advantage of things like seasons, that has, you know, different types of challenges. Like, they already have the foundation there, I think, with a lot of the game modes. Like, Salmon Run was totally new to Splatoon 2, and it is so fun and so chaotic and hilarious. And I'm like, if you can figure out a bunch of little mini games similar to that, like, I think you can really have kind of a rotating cast of like these really fun games that you can play. And then, you know, maybe they do a battle royale mode where you have, you know, like 25 people. Like, maybe it's not 100 squid, you know, inklings, but maybe it's, you know, maybe it's 25 or, you know, something like that. Like, I think there are a lot of ways that they can expand the franchise, but not necessarily Splatoon 2 the game. And so I think that you are exactly right in that, like, this is now a time of growth for Nintendo where they're like, okay, now we have the foundation of this really super popular console. How can we capitalize on that? How can we bring, now the software into the modern era? Because they've really changed the game in the way of, consoles, like the way we look at consoles with the Switch.
Absolutely. You feel like you're giving me these eyes. Do you have something you want to say?
I love Nintendo, and I appreciate what they've done.
I always say they're the weirdos that we don't deserve.
There's a big but this is not that conversation for that. No, I agree. I want to see Nintendo. Like, I agree with everything you're saying. I think this is a prime opportunity for them to innovate and do. They have a very big pedestal here, and I feel like they just need to stand on it and take advantage of it. Mm-hmm. That's kind of what I'm getting at. And I'm just worried that they're going to screw something up. And that's why
always the concern.
That's why I'm grinning like this. It's like anyway, this is not the conversation for that. So I'm going to step back and just keep making weird faces into the camera.
It's not an unreasonable point. I mean, the thing is like there have been times when Nintendo has announced something that has been really disappointing. And it a lot of times stems from either an unwillingness to get with the times, quote unquote, or just generally like just we're going to go our own way and sort of do this left turn that no one else is doing. That, sometimes it's a really big hit and sometimes it's a really big miss. But I appreciate the boldness, I guess, like either way. I'm like, at least you try something, right? Like just don't not do anything.
Have you met their online service, Ashely?
Oh no.
That
voice chat is it's tough. And I definitely, especially with Splatoon, it is like very frustrating. It would be very frustrating to use.
Yeah, I think you and I share
a better solution.
We share similar opinions with our best friends at Nintendo.
Well, listen, I know we don't have too much more time with you, but before we say goodbye, I know that you are probably knee deep in preparations for the biggest show of the year for you, which is, of course, the Consumer Electronics Show, which is coming up right around the corner in January, working in the world of tech. What are some of your kind of favorite memories from working CES over the years?
Oh, man. Well, I've been going to CES since 2012. So this will be my 7th or 8th year at CES. I mean, this is going to sound so lame. I love TVs. Like, I love television. I've loved television since I was a kid. So going to CES and seeing all the new skinny, like flat OLED TV, it is so fulfilling to me as a person who loves television. I am a television idiot. Like, I love TV.
This is good to know.
I love TV. And so I like to see these like beautiful 85-inch screen OLED TV. I'm just like, can I just somewhere find $50,000 to buy? Like, the bigger the TV, the closer to God. Like this is like, it's just like that joke.
That's a quote for the
How
ages.
I Met Your Mother, where it's like Barney's TV is the entire wall. Like, if I could have that, I would do it. And like, I love these massive, gorgeous televisions. So I look forward to that every year. That's always like a must. But my other favorite thing is, and these are all of my favorite CES memories, are the absolute trash as seen on TV products that get launched at CES.
Oh my God, so many of them.
And they're so ridiculous. Like, it just, God, like, and then recently my other favorite has been seeing all the robots on the show floor. So there's like tons of robots now. You can walk around, there's a Pepper there, and then there's like LG's got like a fucking butler or concierge one that works in a hotel and it brings you snacks. The hotel I stayed in last year had a robot butler, and if you ordered snacks, it would come to your room, and then the phone would ring and you pick it up and it's like, your snacks are here, open your door. And you open the door
and you can't knock.
No,
yeah.
it has no and you knock and you open the door and there's a little robot there and it's like, hi. And
I've seen videos of this.
Has a little smiley face on it. It's really cute. And then its head opens basically because that's really creepy. And your food is in there. Like, you got your little snack
dispenser.
It's like a round thing, and then on the
it's
top
more like
there's
a door.
lid, and it opens.
Yeah.
And you get out,
like a garage
you get out
door.
your stuff. And it's like, did you get everything? And you tap yes, and then it closes and it says goodbye and it smiles at you, and then it turns and it goes back and it takes the elevator back down to the front desk and it parks itself, and like that's it.
Yeah, it looks
was
strikingly
so
like
cute.
the robots in Fallout. It really does.
Yeah, they reminded me a little bit of the Protectrons, but small, like really small.
And less
So-
murderous, hopefully.
And a lot less murdery. But so like so
At least for
cute.
now.
And so I love all
God.
the robot stuff. Like anytime my life dream is to have a Rosie the robot, like a sassy robot maid that lives in my house and is like gives me good advice, but is also kind of a bitch to me when I'm
Oh.
acting up a little bit.
See,
like, doesn't give me
that's
my
a
place.
Deep Cuts
You want 'em-
Jetsons
you want 'em to
reference
talk
that I
back.
really appreciate.
If I could pay, I would pay an obscene amount of money to have Gladys from Portal as my Siri. Like
she would keep you in line.
That would be
Yeah.
like an outrageous sum of money. Like just not even. I mean, like I would almost bankrupt myself to have that. I want it so bad. Like I see it on Waze where they're like, oh, you have like Terry Crews giving you directions this week, and I'm just like, that's cool. But also, where's my Gladys Siri? Like that's what I
Right.
need. I need that.
That
So
would be
I, like,
that would
that's
be
the
awesome.
kind of stuff that I really love. That's
Yeah,
what
there
I
was
love.
a year when robots were first starting to come out at CES where I was covering for Clever, and Justin Bieber was there with his Japanese company, very clearly like not caring about this
Paid,
robot
yeah.
at all. He was just like, I'm getting paid a stupid amount of money to show up for like 4 hours or whatever. And because I was press, I got to the front of the line to do a photo meet and greet with Justin. And
Ooh.
quite frankly, like he's fine. Back then, I didn't like care. This was almost like
Yeah,
9 years ago. I didn't
you're an
care.
adult. That's
Yeah,
fine.
I didn't care really about Justin Bieber, but because I worked for Clever and they cover a lot of teen entertainment news, they were like, you must get an autograph, a photo, anything that we can use for coverage. And so I got him to autograph like one of his posters, and then they took it back and they like did a big giveaway with it. And I took some photos with him, but I was just like, this is weird that you're here with this little robot that like you
That is odd.
So the robot was like tabletop size, like imagine the
little
size of like a
dancing robots.
Yeah, like imagine like the size of a cereal box. So about that
Yeah.
tall.
Dude, they had one of those at the robot restaurant in Tokyo, and like at the crazy bar after, it was a little dinosaur like dancing robot, and it would, if you could talk commands at it, you could tell it to like
Oh,
sit
the
and stuff, and it
Roboraptor.
would.
The Robo.
Yeah, it was more of like a brontosaurus, but yes.
What? It's amazing.
But it's a crazy show that I know that you work every year, and
It's a real delight.
how would you, as somebody who has covered both E3 and CES, how would you maybe talk about their differences?
Well, E3 is the better show.
I mean, I
yeah,
agree.
just because that's my like. I have been going to E3 since since 2000. I was actually not. I was underage. I was not supposed to be at that show. I was 17, and I snuck in. And then there were like, we made up a fake company. And like, that's how we got in. And then 9/11 happened and they really clamped down on security. So then I'm pretty sure at some point, like somebody in our group broke federal law and made us fake W-2s.
Oh
Got us at a
no!
show. Like we had to go to E3. Like, we had
Wow.
to go. And so,
Wow.
yeah, it was we were extremely motivated young morons. And so, yeah, we all
Well,
went
I'm
to
glad you're not in
E3.
jail.
Me too. Me too. And
Is
so,
the statute of limitations up on that? Should you
Like-
be talking about it?
I don't think we didn't use them to like file for taxes or anything, but we just used them to get an E3. But like, I remember one of my friends like made a full page like advertisement in Photoshop to prove that we had like a physical game store that we sent out a mailer for every week. Like that was, he had to make
Amazing.
us all business cards. Like it was a real elaborate ruse to get into E3 because we had to see the games. Like we were so desperate. So yeah, like I love E3. I think E3 is amazing. I'm really sad Sony's not going to be there next year.
Yeah.
I'm bummed out, I hope there's a super duper good reason for not coming, like, a PS5.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is a down year because it is like the end of console life cycle for a lot of the consoles except for Switch. So I just imagine like Fortnite is going to have people's freaking zip lining inside that West Hall. Like it's gonna be some insane. I'm sure Fortnite will take up that entire space happily, and it'll just be Fortnite Hall. That'll just be
Fortnite
it.
Hall.
So
What if they did real live Fortnite? Because they could with all the space now.
With all that space, they could probably just have everybody use like Nerf guns and do like battle royale.
Laser tag.
You're so welcome for these ideas, Epic. Like you are so welcome. But yeah, I think I'm a little bummed that it's gonna be a little smaller this year. But it got weird that a couple years where they went to Santa Monica and it was all in like ballrooms and office
Dude, it got
buildings.
so weird. And then it came back.
That got weird. And then it came back. So
it's probably gonna get weird again at some point.
So yeah, it's
kind of getting weird now.
Yeah. I think it'll make a comeback. It always does. But I don't know. It's like CES feels like it was really cool for a while, and then now it's like really kind of like very startup culture where it's like a lot of stuff, like I said, that's like as seen on TV, which is like fun to laugh at, but also like not particularly helpful for society. But then you have like all the smart home stuff. It's like all TVs, smart home, like, washing machines that text you. And so like that to me is like, that's cool. And I'm excited about it, but I'm not as excited about it as like, for example, seeing Spider-Man demoed or, like whatever else. Like that's the stuff I want to, that's my personal interests. So at play. So they know they got me. And that's why I like E3 better than CES.
Well, Ashely, this has been awesome having you on the show this week, and I could keep talking to you forever because you're such a fantastic conversationalist. But we know you've got a script to write tonight and some other things to do. If people want to follow you or check out Stream Economy or any of the other awesome things that you do, where can they find you?
I think the easiest way to come hang out with me is on Twitter. Much as it is a terrible cesspool, I enjoy it very much. And so it's just twitter.com/Ashely Esqueda. I'm sure you guys will tweet my handle
we
out.
got your links and everything in the show notes and in the YouTube description.
But I'm on Twitter. I literally live on Twitter. It's like my second home. It's my home on the internet. So much as I hate saying that, but it's just, that's where I live, and that's where so many of like cool people are. So, and I am like very active on Twitter, and I talk to people, and I'm not an ignorer on Twitter. I definitely like interact with people. So come hang out with me. I like to talk about stuff.
Fantastic. Well, you heard it from her, everybody. Please do follow Ashely. She is wonderful. And thank you again so much for coming on the show today. You were a joy to have, and hopefully we'll have to get you back on the show sometime in the future.
Love all of you guys. I'm sorry for talking your ears off about all the things.
No. You don't have to be sorry. We asked you to talk our ears off.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
I just appreciate that you can stand the sound of my voice for this long. Bless you.
Of course. Always. Just keep playing it on repeat. It's going to be wonderful. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. If you guys missed our announcement, if you are part of our Patreon pre-show tier, I know I'm really burying this at the end of the show, we are now transitioning that tier back to an after hours stream for the month of December. Where it goes beyond that, who knows? I'm going to mention this at the top of next week's show as well, but we are going to be kind of changing up some stuff with our Patreon. We'll have more details about that for you in the not too distant future. But this week was the final live pre-show in that tier, and we will be going back to our after hours gameplay stream. And surprise, we're going to be uploading the show a little bit early next week. We're going to be doing a special Game Awards episode where we pick the winners for the Game Awards, or what we assume will win.
Yeah.
And we hope that you guys play along with us. That episode is going to be going live on Thursday, December 6th, next week. And we hope that you guys check it out. It's going to be a good one. And I believe a secret game that Brittany can't talk about right now, she's gonna be able to talk about
next week.
So we'll make a special little segment where Brittany can talk about this embargoed game. And trust me when I say, if you can tell by her face, you might be able to guess what this game is.
What are you talking about?
You don't want to miss it. As always, if you guys loved what you heard tonight, support the sponsors, Robinhood or Stamps.com. Support us at patreon.com/games, and don't forget to follow our wonderful guests at Ashely Esqueda. All right, that's it for us. Goodbye, everybody. Have a wonderful weekend. Take care.
Don't punch your posse.
Go play Horse Prince.